Hello everyone. Thank you all for watching the video and leaving meaningful comments. Wishing everyone good health and happiness. Early in the morning, I stepped into the wood workshop with excitement and hope. The gentle sunlight streamed down onto the workspace, where workers were busy handling each wooden plank. The atmosphere in the workshop was bustling, with the sounds of machinery and conversations blending together to create a lively scene. The manager approached me and introduced me to everyone. This is Ms. Tieu Diepp, who has just been hired to work here. I hope everyone will guide her. I nodded to greet everyone, feeling a bit overwhelmed. The workers looked at me with friendly eyes, and a few smiled encouragingly, making me feel more at ease in this new environment. My first task was sorting the wood. Large wooden planks were neatly stacked, ready for processing. A female worker nearby enthusiastically guided me on how to check the quality of the wood before feeding it into the cutting machine. I listened attentively and practiced carefully, trying my best to perform each step correctly. The sound of saws echoed rhythmically as each machine operated tirelessly. I gradually got used to the pace of work. Although sweat started to bead on my forehead, my heart was filled with joy at the sense of truly working after a challenging period in my life. The workshop was not just a workplace but also where I began rebuilding my life. During the break, everyone gathered to drink water and chat animatedly. They shared funny stories from the workshop and talked about times they overcame challenges together to meet deadlines. I felt the warmth and closeness of the people here. The morning at the wood workshop ended with a small sense of accomplishment as I completed my first task, sorting and inspecting the quality of wood before processing. Though tired, my heart was full of hope for a new journey filled with meaning in my life. That morning, while everyone was focused on their work at the wood workshop, a familiar figure appeared. It was James. He came to inspect the work, his demeanor calm yet authoritative. I was surprised to realize that this workshop belonged to his family. A wave of confusion and anxiety filled my heart as I tried to keep my head down, working diligently to avoid being noticed by him. While concentrating on stacking wood, I accidentally slipped and fell to the ground. The noise drew the attention of those around me, and James immediately rushed over to help me up. His concern made me even more flustered. Unsure of how to face him, I quickly stood up and ran away, leaving my sandals behind. Without hesitation, James chased after me, holding the sandals in his hand and calling out loudly, "Wait! You forgot these." I ran through narrow paths leading toward the edge of the forest near the workshop. The wind blew past, tangling my hair, but I didn't stop. His footsteps echoed behind me, growing closer with each passing moment. When I reached a rugged path, I tripped and fell to the ground. James couldn't stop in time and stumbled onto me. In that unexpected moment, he leaned down and kissed me. My heart seemed to stop beating. Everything happened so quickly that I couldn't react. I hurriedly pushed him away and continued running, desperate to escape the awkward situation. Nearing my temporary shelter by the stream, I paused to catch my breath. James finally caught up and handed me my sandals. "You forgot these," he said gently but with meaningful intent. I took back the sandals in silence and told him to return. He simply smiled and pretended to leave but quietly followed me from afar. When I reached my shelter by the stream, I sat down under the shade of a tree to rest. The memory of James's unexpected kiss kept replaying in my mind, making it impossible for me to focus. From behind a nearby bush, James continued observing me discreetly. When someone passed by the area, I finally noticed his presence. Calling him out, I invited him over to talk more clearly. We sat across from each other by the tranquil stream. He began sharing that he had helped clear my name in the case involving missing house documents with my ex-husband, something I never thought anyone would step forward to resolve for me. Hearing his words filled me with gratitude and appreciation. But he didn't stop there. James revealed that he had prepared a small house just for me to help during this difficult time. He explained that it was a peaceful place he wanted to offer someone who deserved a better life. Our conversation ended with James expressing his sincere feelings for me. He said he wished to protect and care for me forever. His words stirred deep emotions in my heart. Though there were still many things I couldn't answer right away, his care left a profound impression on me. As the afternoon sunlight gradually faded by the stream, we parted ways with indescribable feelings, both awkward and warm, like a new ray of hope in my turbulent life. The small house sat in the middle of a peaceful garden, surrounded by lush green trees. James had spent the entire day cleaning and preparing every detail carefully before welcoming me to live there. As I stepped inside, the first feeling that washed over me was warmth and familiarity. Though the house was very simple, with just a few basic furnishings, it exuded a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. James stood beside me, smiling gently as he noticed my emotions. "This is a place where you can start over without any worries," he said. I choked up as I thanked him, my heart filled with gratitude for his thoughtfulness. He then mentioned he would head to the market to buy food and some essential items to help me settle into this new space. After James left, I began familiarizing myself with the new surroundings. I went out to the garden to gather firewood for cooking. The dry branches were bundled into a large stack, which I carefully arranged next to the hearth inside the house. The afternoon sunlight filtered through the tree leaves, casting a serene glow over the garden and creating a rare moment of tranquility. While waiting for James to return, I tidied up the house a bit more. The old wooden chairs were wiped clean, and the kitchen corner was organized neatly. Although these tasks were simple, they brought me joy because I finally had a place to call home. This small space felt like a new anchor for my turbulent life. As dusk began to fall, James returned with a large bag in hand. He brought many things: groceries, some personal items, and most notably, a new set of clothes for me. "Change into these and rest, I'll cook dinner," he said gently but with genuine care. Feeling shy, I accepted the clothes and went to change. When I came back, the small house was glowing brightly under the light he had just installed. He was busy by the fire preparing dinner. Watching him in that moment filled my heart with warmth and a sense of safety, something I hadn't experienced in a long time. This little house was not just a shelter, it became a symbol of a fresh start in my life, made possible by James's sincere kindness and support. That afternoon, at the small house nestled in the quiet garden, James returned from the market carrying a large bag. He brought groceries, a few essential items, and, most notably, a new set of clothes for me. "Change into these and take a rest, I'll cook dinner," he said gently but with genuine care. Feeling shy, I accepted the clothes and went into the room to change. When I stepped out after changing, the newly installed lights illuminated the small house, creating an unfamiliar warmth. James was busy by the fire, preparing dinner. Watching him in that moment filled my heart with gratitude and a sense of safety, feelings I hadn't experienced in so long. I approached him and offered to help with cooking. He smiled and agreed but reminded me to rest if I felt tired. Together, we prepared a simple yet hearty meal: a pot of steaming soup, a few side dishes, and fragrant white rice. While cooking, James shared cheerful stories about his life, making the atmosphere lighter and more comfortable. When dinner was ready, we sat down at the small wooden table inside the house. James served me food with a caring look in his eyes. That moment unexpectedly brought back memories of my painful days at my ex-husband's house, where my mother-in-law wouldn't even let me eat properly. The sorrowful memories overwhelmed me, and tears began to fall. James noticed and asked softly, "What's wrong? Is something bothering you?" Choking back sobs, I recounted my past, the days of being mistreated and the countless moments of loneliness with no one by my side. He listened intently to every word I said, his eyes filled with empathy. When I finished speaking, he gently wiped away my tears and said, "You don't have to worry anymore. I'll protect you." His words deeply moved me. His sincerity felt like a powerful source of encouragement that gave me hope for the future. After dinner, James tidied up and prepared to leave. Before going, he reminded me warmly, "If you need anything, just call me." I stood at the door watching his figure fade into the night. The small house returned to its quiet state, with only the faint glow from the firelight remaining. I sat down by the fire, feeling its warmth spread around me as I reflected on James's thoughtful actions throughout the day. Every small thing he did touched my heart deeply. Though life still held many challenges ahead, his presence had brought me a newfound hope, a meaningful beginning amidst all the hardships.